I have loved my little Bosch sander for many, many years now. It's a great sander and one of my favorites, and the one that I recommend to most people when they're just starting out. It's quiet, it doesn't have a ton of vibration, it has pretty good dust collection, and it does a good job getting a nice, smooth finish. What it doesn't do is remove a lot of material quickly. So I think it's time for a long overdue upgrade to my shop, which is to get a bigger, better, more powerful sander. And while I'm at it, I also wanted to upgrade the dust extractor. Right now I'm using a shop vac with a cyclone, which is great and works very, very well, but it's not the best. I've taken some air quality readings, and when I'm sanding, the air quality in here isn't great. So I wanted to upgrade and get something a little bit better. So today I'm going all in on Festool. I am not doing this completely out of the blue, completely based on the whims of the internet. I have actually tested Festool sanders when I worked for reviewed.com, and I was blown away at exactly how much better the Festool sander was than every other sander that I tested. I just couldn't justify the expense of buying one for myself at the time. Now that I'm doing a lot more woodworking and a lot more projects and a lot more bigger projects, sanding is starting to take up more and more and more of my time, and so it is worth upgrading to a very, very high quality sander. And in my experience, Festool is the best that you can get. They had this combination pack for sale to save a couple $100. It has the sander, it has sandpaper, and it comes with their small dust collector, or dust extractor rather. I like this small dust extractor more than the bigger dust extractors that they have because it should be able to fit nicely under one of my workbenches. So let's get this unpacked, let's get it plugged in and set up, and then I'm going to start sanding and see just how much better it is to have a high-powered 6-inch sander than a hobbyist style 5-inch sander. This looks like... All right, so we've got this box here, which is, oh, good, filter bags for the dust extractor. This is the sandpaper, 10 of each grit. That's really, really good. Of course, the nice fancy Festool sustainer. There she is, all brand new, no dust on her at all. We're gonna, well, now there's dust on it. Great. The sustainers are so nice. They do take up a lot of room, but they are very, very nice to have. Okay. Nice long power cord, which is great. Comes with this very, very nice anti-static hose. That'll be nice. I also like that it doesn't have the ridges that my hose has on it, so I'm less likely to scratch up my wood, which I've definitely done with my hose. All right, that's plenty long enough for my needs. And this plugs in just like this, right into there, and then this whole lid closes so your hose kind of stays where it is. A couple of features that I'm very excited about on this dust collector. One is that it has the plug for your tool, so that when your tool turns on, the dust collector turns on, which is great. So you don't have to worry about running the dust collector all the time, which is what I do with my shop vac largely. When I'm sanding, when I pause, I just keep it running, and so I have to listen to it all the time. It also has a variable speed, so you can change the amount of suction that you're getting, which is a great thing to have as you're using different tools. You turn it up if you're using something like the domino or a router, turn it down when you're using your sander. Power cord, it's got Bluetooth. You can buy a Bluetooth activator for it. I don't fully understand why you would need that, but it does have it. And then over here, it doesn't have an automatic filter cleaner, but it does have this handle that you push down to clean the filter. You're supposed to do it when it's running, so I don't want to fully push it down now. But then this is the HEPA filter that is supposed to keep our lungs much, much safer and cleaner. So we're going to get this put into place and plugged in and, you know, start using it, see how it actually runs. All right, one thing that I already really like about this dust extractor is the way the bags function. This actually has a system where it puts itself where it needs to be. You slide this side into the little tab, then there's a little click here, and now the port will slide itself right into here. When you are changing out the bag to remove it, you pull this little lever, and this little cardboard flap goes to cover it. So when you pull it out, you don't get all that fine dust to pop back out into the air, kind of undoing all of the air cleaning that you just did. Having a lock on the wheels is very, very nice. So we just come in here, slide that right on, and then these two lock. That's good. Eventually, it's going to go in there, but for now, while I'm playing with it, just so I have access to it, it's just going to go right down here. It's supposed to be portable and lightweight, which it very much is based on the ease with which I just lifted it. This will be great to have the hose right here. Okay, yep, you'd be annoying. Yep, oh, yeah, sure. Go wherever you want. Not like, yeah, I don't mind. You just go wherever you want. So now let's pull out the sander itself and see what we got here. So sandpaper, warranty information, we'll look at all that later. Standard plug for all of that. And there is a Allen wrench to change out the pad. So we'll put this in here. And of course, the sustainer goes right on top of the dust extractor. All Festool things lock together. All right, let's see if there's anything in the manual that I need to know about. That's very funny. Festool sandpaper makes the sander happy. Others makes the sander angry. Poor little sander. Kind of cut you coming out of the box. So one interesting thing I learned from Mark Roper the other day, or Robert, I also learned it was Rober, not Roper. I've always thought his name was Mark Roper. Is that sandpaper is almost certainly the hardest thing that you have in your house. It is exceptionally hard and is like a 9 on whatever scale they use to measure hardness, which makes sense because it has to be harder than whatever you are sanding. All right, so let's run that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna hold this down here. It's heavy. All right, let's get working. I am so glad that I bought this sander, even with as expensive as it was. Over the past couple weeks, I have put well over 20 hours of sanding time into this tool, and I can tell you it's far and away the best sander I've used, even with all the ones I've tested for different jobs. It is a real workhorse. It powered through oily, gouged up chef's cutting boards with 60 grit sandpaper, and then produced a really, really nice 220 grit smooth finish, even with the 5mm stroke on the sander. And the best part was, it wasn't uncomfortable to hang on to during a long sanding session. Don't get me wrong. My hands were definitely ready to let go after a 3 or 4 hour session, but they didn't hurt and they weren't numb. It really is just about as smooth as my Bosch sander, even with all the extra surface area and the extra power that it comes with. The dust collection on this pair is also stellar. I was shocked at just how little dust and residue was left behind on the working surface when I was done sanding. My Bosch and my shop vac, I guess, are not doing as good a job as I thought they were. I could also tell the difference in the way that I tasted the air while I was sanding. I didn't feel like I had gunk in my nose, my throat wasn't dry the whole time, and I didn't have little brown smudges on the inside of my mask where the dust in the air was able to seep through. I'm not saying that I would sand regularly without a mask on, but I couldn't taste the dust in the air, which is a significant improvement, and I'm sure that my lungs are going to thank me for it long term. But maybe my favorite thing about this Festool extractor specifically is just how quiet it is. No more having to listen to the whining drone of my shop vac, even over my noise-canceling headphones with music going in. Certainly none of this is quiet enough to eliminate the need for hearing protection completely, but it was a much more comfortable working experience all around. The big question at the end of any tool review is always, is it worth it? And for me, unfortunately, that answer is always, well, it depends. For me personally, and what I needed these for, this is absolutely worth it and is going to save me so much time and energy as I move on to larger and larger projects and spend more and more of my time sanding. However, if you're working on small stuff and you spend 30 to 40 minutes sanding with your little 5-inch sander, keep doing that. You don't need a 6-inch sander. There's really no need to upgrade. I will say I was shocked at how much better a dust extractor was than a shop vac. So if you're going to upgrade something, I would say upgrade from your shop vac to a true dust extractor before you upgrade to a 6-inch sander if you have to choose between the two. For me and the kind of work that I'm doing and looking to do in the future, this is absolutely a must-have upgrade, and I'm so glad that I finally pulled the trigger and did it.